We're going to talk all things PR KPIs today. Now, this can be controversial within the industry. KPIs for your PR strategy. Where do you even begin? Is number of clips more important than audience reach? Do we want quality over quantity? Do metrics change pending if you're a private sector or non-profit or international organization? I'm glad you've asked all of the questions. We're going to talk all things PR KPIs today as part of your PR strategy here on Maybe Pod. Thanks for joining us. This is your countercultural open PR playbook brought to you by International Public Relations Agency Maybe. My name's Katie Clift, founder and CEO of Maybe Agency and host of Maybe Pod. And this is a crucial industry question that I'm glad we're delving into today. Our aim here at Maybe Pod is all about helping you understand and use PR effectively. And obviously it goes without saying that means you have to be able to measure your PR and understand what good PR looks like. So what KPIs do you need to have in place? Now, this can be controversial within the industry. There's often a lot of differing opinions about what makes a good PR KPI. And we know that great PR must be measurable. But does all PR need to be measured in the same way? And what's perhaps most important to if you are a non-profit or an international organization? What should your KPIs be? And what's most important for you to pay attention to, particularly if you're a non-profit or an international organization when it comes to measuring your PR? Well, the broad answer is it does differ on a case-by-case basis. And we have a lot of tools in our PR toolkit. Media releases, opinion editorials, podcasts, media interviews, letters to the editor, the list goes on. And the PR KPIs we want to apply to all of those different formats are going to differ format to format. And what a lot of people don't know is that there are categories of KPIs that you need to be aware of. Success is not just about the number of clips achieved or your potential audience reach, and you need to be strategic about what KPIs you're applying and what you're measuring when it comes to every PR tactic that you employ. So we've broken them down in an easy to understand way into categories. What are the PR KPI categories most relevant to nonprofits and international organizations? Well, we've got a top 5. So the first is visibility and reach. The second, reputation and authority. The third, stakeholder influence. The fourth, fundraising and resources. And the fifth, internal and organizational. Now, there are broader categories in this, but these are the top 5 that we most commonly see and we would use for our clients at Maybe Agency. So we're going to hone in on these today in this episode of Maybe Pod. Let's get started with visibility and reach. And this is quite basic. It's probably what first comes to mind for you when you think of PR KPIs. If you're thinking about whether your media pitching was successful and your PR strategy worked, you think about visibility and reach. So how many media clips did we secure? How many, in some cases, tier 1 placements, so the biggest global outlets, did we land the story in? You'll look at potential reach via article placement and syndication. It might be geographic reach in priority markets for your organization, and share of voice, so your organization's voice versus competitors or other organizations in the space. Now, visibility and reach, they're the ones that you probably think of most often when it comes to PR KPIs. They are important, but they're not the be-all and end-all in terms of great PR. For example, you might organize public relations and a media release about a funding announcement for your organization. And a KPI of visibility and reach for you is not big global numbers because you're not necessarily trying to reach a big global audience and you don't care just about views. It might be the smaller number of quality articles in target industry publications is far more valuable to you. So visibility and reach is key, but in context, and remember, they're not the be-all and end-all. Reputation and authority. I love this. And this is, again, I said these are the top 5 that we use at Maybe Agency, but this is one I love to reinforce with our clients. And this is something you can measure over the long haul. So the reputation and authority of your organization in media placements. This could be as simple as tracking thought leadership or spokesperson mentions, which obviously means that you're placing leading commentary from your key spokespeople and getting those messages across in effective ways, and you're doing it in target publications with your top experts over time. You can also consider quote inclusion rates, so how many times your spokesperson or organization has been quoted in different news articles. These can be ones you've pitched for and ones maybe you haven't had to pitch for. So the journalists and the media have gone and found you as a leading commentator on this topic and inserted a quote from you into the story. That showcases the importance of your organization as an authority on key subjects. So you might monitor thought leadership placement. That's anything from op-eds to expert commentary and invitations to speak at events. I've used that for clients before. It can be a key KPI within this category that really shows your reputation and your authority over time. We would use reputation and authority as a KPI, for example, for a client that wants to establish their CEO as a thought leader over time in key publications and on key topics within their industry. It's really about showcasing the organization or a spokesperson as the authority and the leading voice on a topic. Love, reputation, and authority. Number 3, it is often goes overlooked. I like to call it like a secret superpower, secret weapon of PR KPIs, is stakeholder influence. This is one a lot of people don't realize because they think PR is all about just media. But remember what we always say here in Maybe Pod, public relations is about relating to all of your publics. So a key KPI for you might be how you influence and engage a range of stakeholders through your PR approaches, not just the media and the general public. Well, what does this look like in practice? It might look like monitoring parliamentary or policy mentions for an advocacy campaign, policymaker engagement following key announcements, how funders support and react to media articles or interviews. For example, if they get in touch with your organization or they make a donation. High value stakeholders attending webinars or events that your organization puts on. And of course, corporate partnerships. That can be a very big thing to measure in this category. So you might be measuring inquiries linked to campaigns or tracking corporate engagement alongside your PR activities. We use stakeholder influence a lot at Maybe Agency in tandem with other PR KPIs, particularly for nonprofits and international organizations. It's an incredibly important one to be aware of. People don't often think about it, but it's just as crucial as something like visibility and reach and reputation and authority. The next one is fundraising and resources. Again, and very obviously, this is another big one for nonprofits. So your KPIs can center around the fundraising that you've generated from PR activations. You might track how many donations are made or inquiries are made following a media campaign, examine conversion rates tied to major media moments, and tracking major gift donations that might be linked to a big media PR push. You can look at cost per acquisition too if you're running awareness campaigns, for example. So your KPI might not be we achieved 50 media clips in Australia for our month-long PR fundraising campaign, but what was more important to us was the media campaign linkage to donations and engagement. So our success is seen in the fact that we raised $1 million through our activities, and we can see that our PR approach helped us reach X amount of donations in X amount of time and maybe X amount of conversions. It's a big one that nonprofits need to focus on. The last one, and again one I love, is internal and organizational. This is something that a lot of organizations aren't aware of or they forget, but it's just as crucially as important as some of the other PR KPIs we've focused on. To meet the KPIs that are necessary internally and across your organization. So what does this look like in practice? It might be engaging staff with your PR campaigns, how a reputation about a campaign has been perceived internally, whether key internal stakeholders are happy with the PR that's been achieved, for example, C-suite or high leaders. And what may come in as another metric here is leadership visibility consistency. Other metrics may be leadership visibility consistency, uptake by staff of PR opportunities, and alignment between the PR strategy that you're using and your organization's strategy. But there you go, the top 5. And as I said, there's plenty more PR KPIs that we could talk through, but these are the top 5 that we use for nonprofits and international organizations through Maybe Agency, and ones that you can take away right now to start to better measure your PR from Maybe Pod. Remember though that all these PR KPIs differ format to format, campaign to campaign, and PR tool to PR tool. Not all success is created equal, and you need to decide what PR KPIs yours are going to be for your specific organization on a case-by-case basis. And this can be as simple as asking the question internally, what does success look like to us for this campaign? What do we agree on? And what are the KPIs we're going to use to measure the effectiveness of our PR strategy? PR KPIs. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Maybe Pod, your open countercultural PR playbook, dropping one episode every week. We talk all things PR. If you ever have a question about communications, public relations, maybe one of these episodes has sparked a question for you, you can write to us. We'll answer the questions here on the pod. Call me at maybe.agency. It's been a pleasure to spend this time with you. Forward this to a friend. Remember to hit like, follow, subscribe, and we'll see you next week on Maybe Pod.